Number one, your living environment has to be something that is just totally necessary, but not nice to have. Yes, not nice to have. So you're gonna have to sacrifice in the beginning. Same thing with your car, same thing with your clothes, same thing with your living environment. I know this sounds like a lot of sacrifice, but it's worth it. And you can still get nice stuff. And we're gonna talk about how in a minute. So your living environment, your transportation, your living, your food. How do you get this stuff and still enjoy life? How do you not want to kill yourself when you're living so frugal? You can get stuff off Craigslist. Really awesome stuff, really cheap. And guess what? Used stuff can be sold. Like people that are moving out of their house, moving out, they are willing to sell stuff for less. And so you can still get great stuff used. And also, because there may be some urgency to sell it, you can get it at a great discount if you negotiate. So you can still get great stuff. Same thing with your car. You know, if you need to travel, if you need transportation, you can get access to that transportation so much lower if you get it slightly used versus buying new. And in the house, if you're saving on your interest, man, I know some people who've done the frugal approach, who've bought into, say, a house or a condo under 100,000, they've got it paid off, and they are saving like crazy. And they're able to live better, and they're also able to see that their savings is rising because they don't have that interest working against them. So in a nutshell, if you want to really start building your capital, pay off your biggest stuff and keep the costs low. So your living, your car, and your clothes, or whatever else you think is a big expense, start the lowest you possibly can, get that paid off, avoid debt like the plague. Interest is the enemy if it's working against you. Get all that stuff cleared away and wait until you see the savings start piling up, even if you're earning an average income. And as you're able to develop this savings, we're gonna talk about how you leverage that in the next episode. But for now, I wanted to get that point down. And here's the other thing. Now let's talk about travel and other stuff. You know, Craigslist was one of the places that you can go. There's also Ross for used clothes. And for travel, let me tell you something that I did on travel. In San Diego, they have some places on the beach that go for like $500 a night. I called up around some different places and I said, look, I know that you guys aren't booked all the time. Tell you what I'll do. When you guys are not booked, I'm gonna reserve a night, and normally you'd get nothing from it, but I'm willing to pay, you know, and it worked out I was gonna pay like 1/10 what they normally rent it out, or 1/5. Normally it goes for $500 a night. I was able to get it for like under $100 a night. And you know, still not cheap, but it's one of those splurge things, right? If I'm saving gobs of money every month on interest because I'm not paying a mortgage or anything, I can afford to go out and splurge a little bit. And guess what? When I do splurge, I get to live like I'm spending way more, but I'm spending way less because I've negotiated a discount. Yes, I did get somebody to agree and said, you're right. When it's vacant, we aren't making any money from it. So yes, we will give you the place when it's vacant on short notice, as long as nobody else is renting the place. So now I have a few places in San Diego where I can go stay for $100 a night or under if they aren't renting it out. And it's, you know, it's kind of cool. It's a little treat, and it's something that I get to do to splurge, and I'm living right on the beach when I go there. So it's awesome. And in the meantime, I'm here in Las Vegas, and I've got a house that's paid off here, and I don't have a mortgage. In fact, right now, I came back from Jacksonville after I moved with Logan, my girlfriend, back to Las Vegas, and I've been staying in my mom's house because we're waiting for renters to clear out of the other house. So you want to talk about frugal? I'm living in my mom's house. I've got renters in the house in the neighborhood here nearby that are actually paying for not even the interest. It's a surplus. They're not even paying my mortgage. It's a surplus. So this is super frugal. 3 other obstacles to living a frugal lifestyle that we have kind of talked about in the last episode. And those 3 are instant gratification, lack of discipline, and ego display. And something I said in the last show is the ego is the most expensive thing that you'll ever own. And what do I mean by that? If you've got to show off, if you've got to have people see nice stuff that you don't actually own, you don't own the house until that baby is paid off. If you've got to actually show stuff off, you are just burying yourself with interest. Remember, the interest, the enemy working against you, it's like the wind resistance. And that loan, whatever it is that you're buying that you can't possibly afford, is just hurting you in the long run. You've got to put your ego in its place and say, no, I am going to preserve my capital. That's more important to me than showing off. I don't care. And then in the long run, you're gonna have more capital, and just, you know what, keep the ego out of the equation. Here's how you know if it's an ego drive or not. If you really care, if you're buying it because you care what other people are gonna say or think when you buy it, it's probably not so much gonna make you feel fulfilled or serve you as much as it is gonna make you feel good when people comment how wonderful or great or big or grandiose it is. That's how you know if it's an ego expense. And the more you can avoid those expenses and do things that are actually nice for people, you're not getting recognition for it, that's going to fulfill you on a spiritual level, and that's going to be so many more times enriching and so much less expensive. So if you really want to live the frugal lifestyle, you are going to have to put your ego in check, and you are going to have to delay gratification. And the only way you're going to be able to delay gratification is if you're developing discipline. How do you develop discipline? I'm so glad you asked. We're going to talk about that in another Full Potential episode. But the next show we're gonna talk about is leverage. How do you take that money that you're now saving so that you can get the maximum return on investment so you can start enjoying life a little more and do a little bit of this splurge that I've been talking about. That's coming up in the next Full Potential episode. I'm James Rick. This is the Full Potential Show, your #1 non-boring source for personal development. I hope that I wasn't too long in this one because you did get a little bored. I saw you blank out there for a minute. Come back. The next show, we're going to make it shorter, more empowering, more inspiring. I'll see you next time on the Full Potential Show. I'm James Rick. Subscribe, sign up. See you soon.